Trump told you 8 years ago that you would get tired of him winning? You can't say he's wrong. I'm Harriet Langley Swindon, and this is Non-Censored. Hello and welcome to Non-Censored, the podcast that wraps up all the best bits from my very real daily radio show into one easy-to-digest highlights package. I'm joined, as ever, by my producer Martin, and what a show we have for you this week, eh Martin?
Oh, yes, indeed. We spoke to the new leader of the opposition and next Prime Minister, Kemi Badenoch. Rory Stewart explains how he called the US election so badly wrong, and Eshaan Akbar joins us to give us a very hot and spicy take about Kamala Harris's loss.
But as ever, there was so much in our weekly show that we couldn't include in this Highlights podcast, and especially our full overnight coverage of the US election.
Yes, but unfortunately one of our guests plugged his book so much that if we included any clips from it in this podcast, we would have to label it as sponsored content.
Which, to be clear, we are totally up for making, but only if we're getting paid. So, instead, we'll start with the next Prime Minister, Kemi Badenoch, who was elected on Saturday and took her first PMQs on Wednesday, immediately taking Sir Keir Starmer to task. Let's take a listen. Kemi, congratulations. It's great to get you back on the show. I'm so excited. I mean, it's a first, isn't it? You're the first black leader of the opposition. Absolutely wonderful.
Me? The first what?
Black woman of the leader of the opposition.
I think that sometimes we focus on the wrong things. Am I a trailblazer? Am I the first trailblazer?
Yes.
For the Conservative Party, we could say that. Mm-hmm. Am I the first working class leader of the Conservative Party? We could say that I do think that sometimes we don't focus on the right things, and I would have expected better from you. But maybe because you might not have been the first of the things that I've mentioned, you might need to grab at identity politics for your wins. But thank you for having me here today, I guess.
Well, Kemi, I mean, the whole identity politics, I mean, I love your stance on it. I do have to pick you up on the working class thing, though, because you're not working class.
What I said there, and I can understand if it takes you sometimes a little while to catch up, is that I have been working class. I have experienced the feeling of what it is to work.
Right.
And I remember when I was younger, coming over to this country and being in a class with people who had worked. So as far as I'm concerned, that was an experience, a very visceral experience for me of what it's like to be working class.
I suppose that's the thing with class, isn't it? It can change. I mean, I wandered into a Lidl once by mistake, and
I would have thought you shop there regularly.
Really? Right.
In terms of shampoo, that's what I would have picked up on, the quality of shampoo.
So you're probably sort of working class when you're shopping for shampoo.
You might be, yes. But for me, it was a very short experience. And the reason it was a short experience for me is because, unlike so many people, I'm not lazy.
Right.
So once I felt what it felt like to be working class, I pulled myself up by the bootstraps and I got myself out of that. And that is what's so beautiful about Britain. And that's what I want to kind of bring forward when I'm Prime Minister. The fact that we can all work to be better and have better lives. We don't have to be poor. Poverty is a disease. And I want to cure us
wonderful.
of it. Thank you.
I mean, if poverty is a disease, that's an interesting. I never heard it put that way before.
It doesn't sound great, Kemi. Hello, Kemi. Producer Martin here. Just, I've got to say, some of the things that you're saying, they do seem a little bit offensive and maybe just a little bit cruel. Also a bit...
What have I said? I haven't said anything.
That poorness is a disease.
I'm looking forward to being Prime Minister.
Well, you said that poverty is a disease. You just said it just then, didn't you?
Poorness is a disease. I almost feel like you might be attacking me racially, although I don't believe in the concept of race, because I wouldn't say poorness is a disease because that's grammatically incorrect.
Okay, well, I
just think that you might want to move those dials up and down and focus on your job.
That's not how it works.
Those dials.
There's more to the job than that, Kemi. I mean,
That's
not
how
lots
it
more,
works.
but
do you work? Is this work?
I'm getting paid technically not a great deal, but yes, I do shop at Lidl.
Well, that I can tell. Those I can tell.
I go to Waitrose for a few treats. I mean, that's probably not the point. It's not what we're here to talk about.
But I think this is what makes me stand out as a future leader of this country and a future leader very soon. I've been able to do the very quick maths. You shop at Lidl and sometimes you go to Waitrose, but you're not being paid very much for a job that isn't really a job at all. So this is the problem. Right. And this is the problem with this country. People are not using their money well. And do you have a family? Maybe you should stay in your lane and focus on Lidl as opposed to aspiring, just for now, for Waitrose.
Stop aspiring to Waitrose, Martin.
When you're only pulling dials up and down.
There is more to it than that. I mean, there's buttons, there's some knobs, and I've got to do a lot of
There is
editing.
definitely a knob.
Producer Martin does his best. Now, Kemi, what is your vision?
I expect better from you, Harriet. You don't have to stick up for a man.
I'm not sticking up for him, Kemi. I'm just saying he tries.
And fails.
But Kemi, okay. I want to speak about you. What is your vision for the Conservative Party?
My vision for the Conservative Party is a great one. Thank you for asking that question. It's the best question you've asked so far. I see us as the forerunners of progression in Britain.
Oh, wonderful.
I see us as the people who will bring everybody out of poverty. We will heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race, but no other race other than that.
It does sound like you're quoting lyrics to a song there, Kemi, which isn't necessarily bad, but it also doesn't seem very sincere.
I don't know any song that has I don't know any song that has those lyrics.
Well, I mean, there are. I think maybe you accidentally heard a song and now you're just repeating the lyrics.
There are people dying.
There are people? People are dying?
The living. I can't remember the next.
Know. Do you take vocal coaching classes?
Thank you.
No, I would
Kemi.
suggest that you do. I would suggest you do.
Well, my husband Jonathan says I've got a wonderful voice. Actually,
your husband Jonathan needs to get back to work.
He does work, actually, Kemi. He's a working man.
Okay, a working man.
He's a lawyer.
That I see, and I love that. I love that. You see, Martin.
Yeah.
You see, Martin?
Yeah, no, I don't need to hear. Yeah, well, of course. Yes, it would have been nice if I was a lawyer, I suppose, for everyone, apart from me, perhaps. Kemi, you've only been, at one Prime Minister's questions, and already you're coming in hot, aren't you? You're quite a controversial person to be holding the reins. Is this something that we can expect?
Controversial? What do you...
Well, you really I feel like you're a little bit antagonistic at times, if that's fair to say.
We are so lucky right now that I do not believe in anything to do with race because aggressive, controversial.
What? No.
All of these words.
Shouldn't say things like that, Producer Martin.
I would like to believe that you're saying this because you haven't had a strong woman in your life. Your wife allows you to jump from shopping at Lidl to shopping at Waitrose. That you don't have a strong female dynamic around you to really hold things together. So you don't understand what it means to be a trailblazer, to be a forerunner for the true vision of Britain. I plan to make Britain great again.
I can assure you it's nothing to do with race or gender. It's just that it was Rishi Sunak before and he was a bit wet.
Well, I don't know what to say about that. I just know that I come with a lot of gravitas. I come with a lot of economic robustness that
Yes.
some people haven't had before me. Again, Rishi, I don't want to make any personal remarks, but he had a very strong woman by his side. A rich woman.
Right, I see.
very
That's
rich
interesting.
woman.
So you're saying that Rishi Sunak, the former prime minister, was helped by having a strong wife.
I didn't say that.
Well, no, I think
I-
well, Kemi, that is what you just said. I think.
I don't
Yeah,
think
we've
I
got
did. In fact, I want to
literally-
know exactly where I said that. That's
I mean,
a
we've
problem.
recorded it.
Yeah, producer Martin, you just
Yeah,
play,
I'll just-
play it now.
Yep.
Rishi, I don't want to make any personal remarks, but he had a very strong woman by his side. A rich woman.
And
Okay, well, all I can say to that is that we need to have stronger AI regulations in this country. And when I become prime minister very soon, we will be able to tackle these situations as what we've just seen there. Whatever you were doing there shouldn't be done. And I remember time that I hacked Harriet Harman's website, and I also was playing around and fiddling with things in the back end. That doesn't sound right, but I was
Okay,
doing
sorry,
all
I
of
just want
those
to clarify there. So you hacked Harriet Harman's website and you fiddled with things at the back end.
I didn't say that.
Right.
Okay.
I think I definitely heard about the fiddling things in the back end.
Kemi.
That
I'm a
really
bit
kind of
uncomfortable
stuck
with
in
how
my head.
I'm a bit uncomfortable with the disparity in education in this conversation.
Right, where's the
okay.
disparity?
The disparity is, I think that I might be better educated than some people in this discussion, and
Probably
therefore the
producer
things
Martin.
Well,
right,
I've
and
got a
some
degree.
Other people, a degree in clownery.
Oh,
Well, no, I
producer
didn't.
Martin, that's a pretty good one.
I did a weekend
Producer
course.
Martin.
In producing.
I did a weekend course in clowning,
Producer,
and I
she
took
got you there.
No, I mean that's just a hobby. That I don't see what that has to
Don't
do
take
with.
this the wrong way, Kemi, but I didn't know you could do jokes.
Right. And I just think that you're spending all of this time being online, wearing headphones, when you could be focusing on helping your wife so you don't
see
have
why
to
the
continue to
headphones are a
shop at
problem.
Lidl. Why don't you get a job, a proper job, and then you can help your wife?
I
with
mean,
things?
if I wasn't here, Kemi, then people wouldn't be able to hear the words that you're saying. Like I am.
But even now, people aren't hearing the words I'm saying because you're making things up. I didn't say these things.
Right. It's just that we
I'm quite
have been
frankly
recording the
disgusted.
whole. Yeah. Okay. Harriet?
With
Well,
your
listen-
Lidl equipment. With your Lidl equipment.
Harriet,
Of course you've been recording. You might as well get
Okay.
a stone tablet
Okay,
and
so-
transcribe it and
We didn't,
chisel it
like-
out.
I didn't
Kemi,
buy the studio equipment.
I think we'll move on from this, and I'm going to draw the interview to a close. But before you go, I would like to ask one more thing. How are you feeling now about a Trump presidency? It's a new dawn.
It's a new dawn, it's a new day, and I'm feeling good. And that didn't
I like
come
the
from
song.
anybody. No, there are no songs. There are no songs.
There are
Especially
no
not by
songs.
black people.
What?
There are no songs. I'm just and this is literally something that I'm thinking of, and I'm freestyling because I'm a trailblazer, and I've had an incredible week, and I'm so looking forward to running this country. I think it's going to be easy pickings, really, because the person currently in power is just as wet as Rishi Sunak. So I will have a great time, and it's only a matter of time before I'm Kemi, Prime Minister. So
Right. That will be
watch
another.
this space. And I'm looking forward to working greatly with Trump, working closely with Trump. We have similar visions. He wants to make America great again. And I don't know if it's ever been great before, but good on him. Whereas I will make Britain great again because we already had the prefix.
Well, Kemi, how wonderful, and what a wonderful note to end on. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
I don't know if you noticed, but America had an election earlier this week.
Oh, yeah. No, we noticed.
Well, with a result like that, how could you not? The champagne was popping all night in the non-censored studio, wasn't it, Martin?
Yes, and the painkillers too.
Yes, we may have overindulged a bit, but not everyone had a good night.
But about 167 million Americans for starters, and about $7.9 billion non-Americans.
One person in particular who had a bad night was Rory Stewart, the presenter of a rival political podcast that you probably haven't heard of. He predicted that Kamala Harris would win the election in a landslide, so we asked him to come on this podcast to atone. Let's take a listen. Rory Stewart.
Hello.
Thank you for coming on the show.
No, pleasure. Thank you for having me. This is the Rest of Politics. I'm Rory Stewart. Sorry, force of habit. Force of habit. I get confused.
Don't
It's very
you
brave
worry.
of you.
Because I co-host quite a popular podcast. It's very we record it all the time, so it can be. You've heard it.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Producer Martin, what's happening here? Why are you
I'm
acting
just
like that?
lovely to meet a fan.
I'm also in the industry. Where I'm actually a producer.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you're a podcaster. You're a producer. Yeah.
Well, yes, I just think on this show actually. Yeah.
Yeah. The one that I'm on. So this is So thanks for tuning in. This is the Rest of Politics. I'm Rory Stewart. I'm joined here by Alistair. Sorry. Force of habit. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Where's Alistair? Is Alistair joining in a bit or?
Rory, we just wanted to speak to you.
Oh, it's non-censored. Yes, sorry, we're on non-censored. Lovely to be here.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Okay, let's take a break. We'll have a message from our sponsor.
No break. No, Rory, we're starting the podcast.
Oh, it's the start. Sorry. Yes, sorry. This is non-censored.
This is non-censored with Harriet Langley Swindon.
Okay.
That is me.
Okay, great. And we'll be sort of having conversations across the political divide, yeah? We're sort of taking people with different positions, people slightly left of centre, slightly right of centre, and just
less of a conversation,
really hammering that out.
More of an interview.
Okay, okay.
And everyone tends to be on the right side of politics usually, otherwise it becomes quite combative.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's really important, I find, on a podcast to make sure that any differences of opinion are really quite as narrow as possible, but you can present it with the illusion of as though you're crossing an intractable gulf.
Right, Rory, I don't really want to talk about that. What I do want to talk about is your comments. And, well, you must feel like a bit like a plonker, mustn't you? Because you...
Well, no.
You said Kamala would win by a landslide, and
Yep.
here we are.
Look.
I'm also just looking here at some of the social media comments. Obviously, the people I find on Twitter, especially the blue ticks, are very wise.
Right. Okay.
Plonker.
That's
idiot.
Hurtful. Oh, okay. That's things they don't have to swear.
Very, very wrong.
Right.
The absolute cretin.
Oh, I think that's probably enough, isn't it? And these are just they're not. Not
harsh.
everyone thinks
Invite
this,
someone on as a guest
Rory.
and then trample on their nuts.
I think no, we're not trampling on anyone's nut. This is just.
Well, my nuts are hurting, so why are they hurting so much if you're not trampling on my nuts? Is that something I should go to the doctor about?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not intentional, Rory. I can assure you, it's just certain people do feel perhaps a little misled. I think that's how.
I can understand that. That's completely fair. Look, let me take the opportunity to respond to this criticism, okay? Because I've laid myself open to criticism, and now the criticism has arrived, and it's on me to address that and to assuage people's fears. Maybe I got it a bit wrong. I made a prediction. I quite heavily threw my weight behind that prediction. I very much steered people's expectations a certain way, but maybe I did that because I'm an optimist. Did you think about that? Did you think about the fact that when you're a political commentator and your job is to make an assessment of the political landscape, maybe sometimes it's not about assessing the evidence, looking at the tangible evidence of a rising tide of totalitarianism and fascism. Maybe it's more about thinking about what you'd like to happen, hoping for the best, and then saying that's what's definitely going to happen. Is that a crime? Is it a crime as a political commentator to be an optimist?
It's a crime. No, I mean, as far as I'm aware, there's no crime has been committed.
I've checked. I've been reading through the statute of laws all day to check that it's not a crime to be an optimist, and it's not, guys. So lay off, okay?
Rory, do you think it's over now for centrist dads?
No, I don't believe so. I think there is always
your smug reign is coming to an end.
I've not been smug. I've never been smug. I've been optimistic. That's always been what's driven me as a politician. You know, maybe that's why I served in David Cameron's cabinet, because I'm an optimist, because I hoped that it might be possible for a government to do good. And then it turned out we didn't, because I never really created any opportunities for that to happen. But I did hope that something good might happen. And I think it's always possible to hope. You can look at things getting progressively worse and worse, and you can sort of sit on the sidelines of them and say, but wouldn't it be nice if they were better? And that's in some ways similar to actually doing anything. We can always do that.
There.
Yep.
Rory, quite a moving, inspirational speech.
Thank you.
I think centrist dads across the land, listening to this, will take some solace in the fact that we are trying our best. And when we,
we can always gripe.
Our little hats on, and we hop on our bikes, and we cycle down to the local patisserie to pick up some fresh bread.
Get out a microphone, have a conversation. Have a conversation with somebody who thinks the same thing as you.
Do you think you should change the name from The Rest Is Politics to We Know Nothing?
No. I think that's pretty harsh. I think once again the boots are out and the nuts are being stamped on. And I've not done anything to invite that. I do know things.
Rory,
I'm a very well-travelled person. I can talk about my travels. I've written a book. I often talk about that.
Yeah, no one's...
There's one instance of me making a...
No one's doubting your writing abilities. I think...
Thank you. Have you read it?
I have read it, and it's an absolute sensation. You can just get you can hear your voice all the way through it. I just read it in your voice, and I had a wonderful time, to be honest.
Yeah. If you get the audiobook, you can hear hours and hours of me reading it in my actual voice.
Oh, what a treat.
If you're somebody who enjoys hearing my voice, then I can't recommend the audiobook highly enough.
Rory Stewart in my ears.
Rory, do you have any more political predictions?
Oh, yeah.
That you want to share that you think might be more accurate than your last one that really wasn't and was a complete embarrassment?
I think, and don't quote me on this, or I guess you have to because you've got to put this out.
Yes.
So quote me on it, whatever. Yeah. I think Donald Trump will quit. I don't think he'll take it up.
Where have you got that from?
Look, I'm an optimist. Okay.
Oh no.
I like to feel a good feeling, think about things that would be nice to happen, and then say that they're going to happen. It's worked for me in the past. In this instance, it's backfired, but I know my strategy, and I want to keep pushing my strategy. So I think maybe he's going to change his mind. He's going to realize that all he wanted to do really was just to win the election, and then he's going to go, oh, don't fancy the job actually, and then hand it over to somebody else. It's definitely going to happen.
It's an interesting claim. I guess time will tell. It's as good a prediction as any. Yep. And we'll keep our eyes locked on the news to see if that is the case.
I think Timothy Chalamet is going to be PM over here. That's another prediction of mine.
Rory.
Okay, it can happen. Why can't it happen?
Because he's Willy Wonka.
Yeah, so Willy Wonka's great. Willy Wonka's a great leader.
He's Paul
Atreides. He's a great leader in Paul Atreides. He gets all the people to
Bob Dylan
ride worms.
I think gets to.
Is he?
It's
Bob
Dylan.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe he won't be PM. Maybe he's too busy.
Rory, thank you for those predictions.
No, pleasure.
And
do you want to know the lottery numbers?
Yeah, actually, I will take those down.
Right, yeah. That would be good.
Okay, 1 1 1. 1 1.
Well, what's that? 11.
1. Yep, and then 1, and then 1 again.
So
that sounds a bit unlikely, Rory.
I think they're going to put the balls back in. I think they're going to take 1 out and then they're going to put it back in and then take it out again. So 1 1 1 1 1. They've never done that before. Look, what we've learned is that unprecedented, huge shakeups can happen. This was a political earthquake that I didn't see coming. So I'm prepared now to make radical predictions. The lottery numbers are going to be 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 because they're going to take the balls back out.
Ones.
I'm not making safe predictions anymore. I'm going out on a limb. I'm trusting my gut.
Okay, well,
I
maybe...
look forward to hear what the people of Twitter have to say about this one. Rory Stewart, thank you very much.
Pleasure. Let's take a break.
If you are enjoying the show, please consider subscribing to our Patreon at patreon.com/noncensored, where not only will you get the show without adverts, you'll also get the episodes before everyone else, as well as videos of all our segments and exclusive bonus podcasts. Finally, Eshaan Akbar is not just a comedian, but he's also Asian.
Oh, no.
What? Why are you doing that?
Well, it's just, when you start talking about race, it usually ends up with me talking to Ofcom. Just let me get the beat machine ready and carry on.
Thank you. Well, someone else who is part Asian is Kamala Harris, and probably because she and wanted to she lost the election. So here's Eshaan to talk about why America rejected their first Asian candidate. Let's take a listen. Eshaan Akbar, it's a brave new world.
It is indeed. Big changes have taken place across the West, particularly across the pond, and it's a day of reflection and a time for us to come together.
A day of new beginnings.
Well, I mean, you seem a lot more excited about the prospect of these new beginnings than many other people that I'm speaking to. Are you excited about these new beginnings?
I am excited about these new beginnings. I think, yes, he's a little uncouth and he says some silly things, but I also think he's going to make America great again, and by proxy, the world great again.
Okay. So you say it's a great again as opposed to a great again?
What?
It's a great again as opposed to a great
I think it's because he made it great again the first time, and then he's making it again. It's doing the same thing.
Yes, he's making great again. Again.
Right.
Got to say,
and the world was once great.
Yeah.
When was that?
When?
Oh, I think probably
39.
Oh, maybe
a bit before.
Maybe 1600.
The 1600s.
Yeah.
The glory time.
Sort of Shakespeare. Was he around then?
Oh, I don't know, Martin. I don't know numbers.
Slavery was pretty hot back then, was it?
I think there was a lot of Trappist beers being made. A lot of
good Trappist beers. You can get a few of those down in Belgium now.
Yes, and also less likely to die of dysentery these days, which is nice.
Yes. Good time for frocks. Big frocks.
Well, of course, and also back then you could really indulge in some healthy vengeance.
Yes.
And I think that's what we need to bring back. I think that's what the world needs.
Yes.
Anyway, Eshaan, how are you feeling about it all?
Well, I'm feeling okay. I mean, look, ultimately, I'm a big advocate for democracy. Give the people what they want. If you don't have a democracy, what do you get? A dictatorship or a theocracy. And we know those two don't ever work really well. Democracy is the best. So if this is what the people want, it's what the people will get. But, of course, as your diversity correspondent, I've taken some time to reflect on what's happened. And
wait, I'm going to stop you there, Eshaan. Are we leading up to your hot and spicy takeaway of the week?
Yeah, very quite possibly.
And are we leading up to your USA election special hot and spicy takeaway of the week?
Yes, I think we may well be.
Well, then, sally forth.
Who's Sally?
I don't know what that... I don't know, but I clearly she was preparing to say that. She was really excited about saying that. There was a long build-up. Yeah. I didn't know... I wasn't, told that was going to happen, but Harriet seems so very smug. So happy. Look at that serene face. Sally, I think you should go with it. Sally
to make the world great again.
Yeah.
Sally forth.
I'll Sally forth.
Eshaan.
Yeah, well, Sally forth I shall. Of course, as we all know, Donald Trump won the election, which means there was a loser, and in this instance it was the late, great Kamala Harris.
She's alive. She's very much alive.
Yeah, but she hasn't won, so she's no longer part of the news cycle, Kamala Harris.
Oh, right. So she's dead in the news cycle.
She's yesterday's news.
Now, Kamala Harris, as you know, was not a white person. She was a mixed black and South Asian person.
I mean, we should probably still say is, like using was, the past tense for her. It does make her sound a bit dead, and she's definitely not.
Okay. I apologise. So Kamala Harris continues to be a mixed race black and Asian person. And her defeat is a real letdown for Asian politicians everywhere. Because if you think about it, Asian politicians have got a pretty good record. Leo Varadkar, Hamza Yusuf, Rishi Sunak, Sadiq Khan. Kamala Harris could have joined the Mount Rushmore of great Asian comedians, but she let us all down. And this...
Did you say Asian comedians?
I think he did. I think
Asian
he's talking about
politicians.
himself there. Is this,
I think this
Eshaan, are you about
comes
to
down
reveal
wasn't it?
your political ambitions?
You're
Are you putting yourself in the
running for
pantheon?
office.
In the Mount Rushmore?
Whenever I think of
Who
Rushmore,
are you in between?
Whenever I think of Rushmore, I think of comedians like myself on the Rushmore of great comedians. In any case,
Well, there
thank
is
you. You're
that
right,
Wes Anderson film Rushmore, so maybe that's where that came from.
Yeah,
Sorry,
thank you.
please continue.
So she could have joined the pantheon of great Asian politicians, but she let us all down. And now it's quite a difficult time for Asians because we've realised, ultimately, globally speaking, the only Asian in the West with a global mandate to govern is Sadiq Khan. And therefore, Sadiq Khan should not only run for Prime Minister, he should also run for President.
No.
Ooh.
What? Sorry,
did he do
why?
that?
Because he knows how to get votes from white people in Western nations.
All right, Eshaan. Don't you think it's got more to do with the fact that she's a woman?
No, I think America's moved on. It doesn't any see gender anymore. I think the race was the issue. The fact.
I mean, there were actually sort of they interviewed various people who said they didn't want a woman telling them what to do.
Yeah.
Yes, because racism is a bit more insidious, right? You do it in the background. America has formed. They've elected a black president, right? And you could say, oh, America doesn't want to vote a woman in. But America has voted women in the past. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, yeah? Kim Kardashian. They do pretty well in the votes, right? Taylor Swift. She makes lots of songs democratically.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's quite the same vote, voting for someone to have the position of president versus...
America likes women. Pamela Anderson.
Doesn't want them leading it, though, Eshaan, because we're too emotional.
Well, I mean, that's true. You're only happy, 1 week of the month.
It's fine for us English, we've got it under control, but American women...
Yeah, they're a bit too... It's a bit... Well,
it's like Lenny Kravitz said, American woman...
What did he say?
Stay away from me. Probably because they're, quite, volatile.
A bit much.
Yes.
Yeah, very volatile. Yeah, because you just wouldn't trust them around, making decisions around... peace, world peace.
Yes, or women's reproductive rights.
I'm sorry. I've got to step in here because I think you'll find that women are well versed and capable enough to take on any role that a man could, and I think a lot of people would have welcomed having
Martin.
a female president. Unfortunately, my hot take that I'm just going to throw in there is that Kamala and Tim Walz, they tried their hardest with a campaign based on joy and love and hope, but unfortunately they just didn't have good enough merch, did they? I mean, Trump had the red hats.
Right.
They came out with the camo hats. It wasn't good enough. People still preferred the red hats, and that's what they voted for.
Sorry, Producer Martin, the camo hats.
They were camouflage. Camouflage.
Oh, camouflage.
Yes.
Oh,
Do you think maybe they did too well and some of their voters hid?
Oh, that's very funny.
Thank you. That's the first joke I've made in this podcast, which we've been doing now for over 2
rather
years.
Impressive.
It was quite good.
It was very good. Just on the women thing, we have tested political leadership with women, and it's not really worked well. Benazir Bhutto.
Sorry, Eshaan. Margaret Thatcher.
Okay, well, some people would say that hasn't worked out too well. Theresa May, Liz Truss, Benazir Bhutto, Angela Merkel.
Who's that?
Benazir Bhutto was the Prime Minister of Pakistan. She got assassinated by her husband, allegedly.
Cleopatra?
Yep, Cleopatra. Aung San Suu Kyi. She's in house arrest.
Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah. I think the list of women who've been in leadership
Queen
roles
Elizabeth
doesn't give us much
I.
confidence.
Queen Elizabeth
Margaret
II.
Thatcher.
Who? Yes.
What about Lizzie?
Very good.
Don't forget about old Lizzie. She
And
did all
Margaret
right.
Thatcher.
And Margaret Thatcher, yes. So I would say that America has seen what's happened in the world and gone, nah, we can't be doing that because that hasn't worked out well. But I still believe that the Asian thing was the main thing. You can't have an Asian leader of the United States of America, frankly.
Well, I think that's a lovely note to end on.
Yeah.
Eshaan Akbar, thank you for your hot and spicy take that America mustn't have an Asian leader.
Well, I never said mustn't. I just said,
I agree.
I said I don't
They
think.
mustn't have it.
I didn't say mustn't.
Absolutely disaster.
I'm pretty sure mustn't is
That
real
won't
word.
make America great again.
I'm pretty sure
But
mustn't.
can't have Asian leaders in America.
Mustn't is what you said, not me. Just
Again. Well, that's it for now. We'll be back next week. So in the meantime, like, subscribe, tell your friends, follow the Out of Context Follow the Out of Context Non-Censored Blue Sky account, and remember that there's loads of stuff on our Patreon. Patreon.com/noncensored. So, if you enjoy the show, please do support us if you can. With thanks to Rosie Holt, Brendan Murphy, Eshaan Akbar, Kelechi Okafor, Jules Norris, and Ed Morrish. I'm Harriet Langley Swindon, and we'll be back next week with more Non-Censored.